How did the name the Count come about? We made a figure called Count Cool Rider, also known as Countool Rider and CC Rider. That's where the nickname Count came from. Dan Koker was more than just the guy with the tattoos and cool. The show's heart and soul were him. He brought Rusty Rex back to life like magic in every show. It wasn't always easy behind the scenes though. Fame led to both big wins and painful losses, and even though his store, Count's Customs, was doing great on TV, things were not so good in real life. When the show ended, stories began to spread about what happened to Danny Koker. Fans were left wondering what really happened. There is more to his story than what you have seen. It has business problems and personal heartbreak. In his show he turned trash into treasure, but things haven't gone so well for him in real life. Come with us as we look into Danny Koker's highs, lows, and real sadness. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio on January 5, 1964, and has played on everything from church stages to garage floors. He moved around a lot as a kid, living in Cleveland and Detroit. Danny knew how to fix cars before most of the other kids her age learned how to ride bikes. It's not a surprise that he got interested in cars early on since his family worked for Ford Motor Company. He started teaching himself how to fix and alter cars while being surrounded by engines and metal. Danny grew up around a lot of things, not just cars. Danny Koker Sr., his father, was a baritone singer and pianist who had studied music in a formal way. The Cathedral Quartet, the Weatherfords, and the Foggy River Boys were some of the groups he played with. When she was young, Danny went on trips with him. He sang all over the world with his father and the Rex Humber Singers. He spent as much time in music rooms as he did in garages. Danny has always liked church music, even though he looked like a typical rock and roll gearhead. Once he said that gospel music is still his best. Love has also never left him. Danny's family finally moved to Las Vegas after years of traveling and singing. He would never be the same after that move. You can count on Cool Rider and the Vegas vibes. When Danny's dad got a job at a Las Vegas TV station, Danny also found a way to combine his love of acting and showmanship. He became famous in his area on TV as Count Cool Rider and hosted a horror movie show called Saturday Fright at the Movies. He showed old cheesy horror movies to people in Las Vegas every weekend, while wearing a cape and acting like a friendly vampire. He was a favorite in the area because of his crazy look and good mood. But Danny couldn't forget his first love, cars, no matter how much fun he was having on TV. He quit the TV show in the end to follow his dream full-time. That dream was to build and fix up old cars. Also, he didn't want to do it for fun. He meant for it to become a real business. Danny opened Count's Customs, his own store in Las Vegas. It began as a small business making personalized cars, but it quickly grew into something much bigger. His old cars were being brought to him from all over the country. His team worked their magic and turned junk into moving works of art. Danny didn't want to work on more recent cars. He liked the old songs that had soul. He was very good at paying attention to details and really liked the way things were made in the old days. His business grew and so did his fame. He was only beginning though. One of the best handmade car shops in the US is now run by the man behind the machine. Danny made the shop something special with just 9 people. They did more than fix cars, they changed them. Every car they worked on had a story to tell. Dan was also picky. Often he wouldn't work on newer types. In interviews he said, "I'm old school," and he meant it. He liked restoring old cars that had their own style. At one point Danny had more than 50 cars and motorbikes in his own collection. He usually bought the first car that caught his eye. He once joked, "If I like it, I want it." His love of unique rides made him stand out not only in Las Vegas but all over the country. After that came Pawn Stars. Danny became known as the go-to guy for all things car-related in the 3rd season of the hit History Channel show. He looked good, knew a lot, and was passionate about what he did. There were tattoos, long hair, and bandanas. He became a fan favorite very quickly. After that, the History Channel gave him his own show called Counting Cars. A lot of people liked the show. A lot of people loved seeing Danny and his crew work on old cars, make jokes, and bring old machines back to life. But Danny's life wasn't always easy behind the scenes. Fame came with stress, and having a business with a lot of customers added to it. Still, Danny never stopped moving forward. He went from singing church as a child to hosting scary movies to running one of the world's most famous custom car shops. Danny Koker's journey has not been like any other, and the next part of his story will shock even his biggest fans. How it all began counting cars. Danny Koker was making waves in the world of cars long before the movie Counting Cars came out. His shop Counts Customs was where he showed off his skills for years. It was clear that he loved fixing up old cars and bikes. He wasn't interested in getting famous. He did it because he loved old cars so much. At the start of the 2000s, people began to notice his work. When he went on Pawn Stars, though, that really changed things. Rick Harrison, who played the lead role on Pawn Stars, would call Danny a lot to look at old and rare cars. Danny was the person to ask. He knew a lot, had good taste, and had a style. Fans loved when he showed up. The History Channel did something big in 2012. Counting Cars was Danny's own show. It was a simple idea. Keep up with Danny and his team as they fix up old, broken down cars. And that was it. The show became a huge hit on the History Channel. Danny did more than just be the star. It was in 2014 that he became the executive director. He was in charge of the whole artistic process. It was no longer just a job. On TV, it was his world. For 10 years the show ran. Counting Cars kept people watching from 2012 to 2021 with cool changes and beautiful builds. The show was a hit, but Danny's life changed in ways he didn't expect. Payouts and builds that are big. Danny Koker's fame grew outside of Las Vegas after Counting Cars did well. A neighborhood shop owner, he became famous all over the world. They made a lot of money because they were famous. Reports say that Danny was making $100,000 per show. That added up to about $1.6 million a year, since each season had 16 shows. That's pretty good for someone who used to fix cars in his garden. But Danny didn't let the money or fame change how much he loved what he did. The work was the most important thing to him, and fans could see that in each show. During the show, Danny and his crew worked on a huge number of cars. Some of these builds you'll never forget. One project that stands out was in the very first show. Rick Harrison brought in a 1968 Mustang Fastback that looked pretty rough. In a short amount of time, he wanted it to be changed into a tribute to the famous Bullitt car. Danny and his team took on the task and did a great job. That one car set the tone for the whole series. Sparkles 2 was a fun little sand buggy that stood out as well. It wasn't like the other power cars. A bright blue paint job and tail lights from an old Mustang were added by the team. The end result was pure custom beauty. After that, there was the VW Carmen Gaia from 1962. It wasn't just any job. It was about them. Danny's crew built it as a present for the wife of one of them. They put everything they had into it. It looked clean, classy, and bright red in the end. It wasn't just a car. It stood for love and working together. And who could forget the Chevy Gasser from 1955? It was already cool like in the 1950s. Dan, though, took it to a new level. This car looked fast, and it was fast too. It had sleek lines and a big block V8 engine. People watched season after season because of builds like these. Danny's fame and what will happen to the show in the future. As more people watched the show, Danny's custom shop also became better known. It was no longer just a business for Counts Customs. It was a place for tourists to visit. People from all over the world came to see the shop, meet the staff, and maybe even see Danny work on a car. When the show did well, it brought in new customers and obstacles. Danny even started making rides for famous people. Alice Cooper, the rock star, was a big name. No longer were normal cars the only ones being talked about. It was time to build for the stars. Anyone would give up under that much stress. But Danny didn't lose focus. Some years ago he said, "If I like it, I want it." This showed how much the work still meant to him. It wasn't just the builds that made Counting Cars fun. It was Danny himself. With his rock and roll style and deep roots in both music and cars, he stood out. He loved old cars. Danny's story is one of love, determination, and keeping true to what you believe in. He held late-night horror shows, sang gospel as a child, and ran a famous garage. Counting Cars is still going strong, even though there hasn't been a new show in a while. Because Danny can make an old car look brand new, and it's hard to forget. There has been no public word about season 11 yet. Fans aren't sure what will happen next since the show hasn't been on in a while. The shop is still open but the cameras are no longer moving. Some people say Danny needed a break from all the attention. Some people believe that History Channel has moved on. What did really happen? Why did Danny Koker disappear? People who watched Counting Cars after it finished in December 2021 were curious about what happened to Danny Koker. The show just stopped after 10 seasons of making amazing cars on TV. Dan didn't though. He didn't give up, he didn't go away. In fact, he might have had even more to do. Count's Customs, his well-known garage in Las Vegas, is still open. The shop hasn't slowed down, even without the cameras. Just like they always have, Danny and his team keep working on cars and motorbikes. That's why Danny is still alive, even though he might not be on TV every week anymore. The Count's Customs Facebook page is always getting new posts. The team's work can be seen by fans. There are custom choppers, rare classics, and crazy styles. It helps Danny remember that he still loves doing the things he used to do. It's just that he's not in the spotlight right now. You can still go there if you're interested. Their website says that they have free tours every day at 10 a.m. until 4:00 p.m. People can look at Danny's collection and walk through the garage. They can even go on a VIP tour. Fans can really see what goes on behind the scenes with the VIP experience. You can stop by Count's Vamp, see Danny's private store, and see the famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Danny's own rock and roll bar and grill. Fans may even get to meet Danny in person at events that are planned. Now that the show is over, the man who did the magic has never stopped. He's also doing other things. At number 77, The Rock is still rolling. Danny isn't just into cars. He also likes music. That's something fans might not know unless they've seen him through the whole thing. Danny and his father sang church music together when they were kids, long before Counting Cars. He always loved music. He is now the lead singer of his own band, Count 77. The rock band looks and sounds like it was formed in the 1970s. Their show has been going on for more than 10 years. Danny's wife runs the band and is in charge of its branding. A lot of their shows happen at his Vegas bar and grill, Count's Vamp. It's not just a place to hang out. It brings Danny's attitude to life. The cars, the music, and the work. Danny A has a lot going on in his life. He hasn't slowed down even though Counting Cars isn't shooting anymore. He loves what he does still. It's not the cameras that bother me. It's the cars that do, he said one time. Fans still don't understand why the show ended. Why did the show end? After the last season aired in 2021, neither History Channel nor Danny said anything public about why the show ended. That made it possible for stories to spread. Some say Danny left because she was in trouble with the law. Some people think it was because of health issues, stress, or problems with the network that were going on behind the scenes. Problems with the schedule or changes to the production are even being talked about. But let me tell you the truth. These ideas have never been proven to be true. Danny hasn't talked about any important problems in public. His store is still open. In public he still shows up. His band still plays. And Count's Customs is still one of the best places to get your car fixed. That doesn't sound like someone trying to avoid attention. We do know that Danny got a lot of attention on Counting Cars. It made his shop become famous all over the world. But the work has never stopped, even when there wasn't a show. The truth is that Danny still posts news and pictures on the Count's Customs Facebook page. Fans can check that out to see what he and the team are currently working on. The famous 1968 Bullitt Mustang is still a fan favorite project. It wasn't just pretty that Counting Cars had builds. They told stories. Each job was done with great care. In the very first show, the 1968 Bullitt Mustang was one of the most well-known builds. Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars brought it in. It was in bad shape, but Danny saw what it could be. He said he would fix it up without spending too much, and he did. The whole series began with that one car. The next car Danny worked on was Sparkles 2, a dune buggy that was a little different from the muscle cars she usually worked on. But she still gave it the same love and care.
The team changed the color to blue and added Mustang tail lights. Even though it was a fun build, it still had that signature Count's unique style. The 1962 Volkswagen Carmen Gaia was another unique car. The idea wasn't very fancy, but it had heart. The crew built it as a gift for the wife of one of them. The team did everything they could to make it look great. It wasn't just a car. The gift came from the heart, and it showed in the end result. After that, there was Danny's 1955 Chevy Gasser. This one was brave. It had a beautiful striped paint job and a strong big block V8 engine. It screamed style and power. One more thing that shows Danny's unbeatable taste in cars. His shop has some rare cars, but not all of them are there. Danny also has a very nice collection of his own things. The famous collection of Danny Koker. People all over the world look up to Danny the Count Koker's collection of cars. He has more cars than most people can even think. From old classics to fast muscle cars. Fans of counting cars know that Danny does more than fix up cars. He loves cars more than anything else. There are also many cars in his collection that aren't just for show. He is the one who drives them. Fans have seen that even though Danny says he'll never sell a car, big offers can change his mind. Danny has even given up some really cool rides. The most beautiful of them was a 1992 Lamborghini Diablo with a 5.7 LV12 engine that could go over 200 miles per hour. Danny's Purple Beast was one of the fastest cars she had ever owned. He did sell it when the right deal came along though. Afterward, the car turned up at a Barrett-Jackson sale in 2022 and was bought for $187,000. Then there was his 1967 Pontiac GTO Roadster that was electric blue. In the first season of Counting Cars, Danny bought it and gave it the full Counts Customs treatment. He kept the car's strong 400C V8 engine but gave it a more current look. He held on to it in his own collection. But one day a fan came into the store and asked to buy it. Danny set a price that wasn't for sale that was so high that he thought the fan would leave, but the fan didn't. The car was bought. In an interview, Danny said, "I regret every one I've sold. The one he regrets the most is a 1973 Plymouth Satellite Sebring Raw, which he put back together from scratch and meant to keep forever." As a businessman, he had to say yes. Is Danny Koker a car lover or a businessman? Each car he builds is unique and he puts a lot of time, care and passion into it. But he's also honest about being in the business of cars. He once said, "I'm also a gentleman that owns a business. You need to pay your bills. That's why even the rarest cars are sold sometimes." He said that he felt sad about many of the cars he sold, like his Buick Riviera, Plymouth Roadrunner and Ford Galaxy. But Danny knows that he has to do what's best for his business and his team because he customizes and sells cars for a living. He usually takes a good offer, but there's one car that he won't sell no matter how much money is offered. It's not the most expensive or rarest car he has, but it's the one that means the most to him. That car is a 1966 Mustang Shelby GT 350, the Mustang that changed his life. Danny grew up in Detroit, Michigan, where many of his family members worked in the auto business. He was always there, but when he was 9, his dad brought home a 1966 Mustang Shelby GT 350, and everything changed. For Danny, that one car was the start of it all. The GT 350 became a family project, and he and his father would work on it together for hours on end. Those times shaped his future. He said that car made him love cars, restorations and custom work. When Danny was old enough to drive, his father gave him the car. Danny still calls it my father's 1966 Mustang GT 350 inches because it means so much to him. In a Uganda video on YouTube, a fan asked Danny which car he would keep if he had to sell all the others. He replied, "The GT 350. It's the most important to me. He has a lot of amazing cars, but this one, the 1966 Shelby GT 350, is the one that changed his life. It's not like any other car. It was the high-performance version of the Ford Mustang, and it had a powerful 289 IV8 engine and either a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed manual transmission. The 306 horsepower was very powerful even though the car was not very heavy. 1966 was also the first year that the GT350 came in colors other than white. But Danny loved the classic white with blue stripes version the most. It was used in movies and TV shows like Gone in 60 Seconds and The Love Bug. Danny thinks of the GT350 as more than just a cool car, it's a part of his history. And here's something unusual: Danny didn't change anything about it. He's known for adding his own style to cars, but not to this one. He kept it the same way his father bought it when he was 9 years old. He did restore it, but he didn't change anything about it. That choice alone shows how much he cares about the car. It all began with that Mustang. Danny once said, "It's more than a car. The Lamborghini, the GTO and the Plymouth Satellite all have prices, but the GT350 has never had one. It's not for sale in any way." Danny doesn't just work with metal and paint, a memory, a sign and a family tie. So even though Danny Koker has a lot of rare cars in his yard, there's only one that really shows what kind of person he is. He didn't just start collecting cars with the GT350, it was the beginning of his trip. It was already amazing in 2013 when DY showed off his own collection. He had 58 cars and 78 bikes at that time. At Count's Customs, most of them were fixed up. Some were left the way they were and others were changed into hot rods with a sleek look. There are a few cars in his collection that stand out more than the rest. One of the most famous cars in American history is the 1932 Ford Roadster. A second one is the 1955 Chevrolet Gasser. A 1971 Cadillac Eldorado Roadster and a 1995 Dodge Viper are two other great cars. Every one has its own story and they all show how much Danny loves old American power cars. He doesn't just have a bunch of cars to show off. They are important to him, so he keeps them. They make him who he is. Plus, fans can still see these amazing cars on shop tours or online, even though Counting Cars is no longer on TV. But one thing is for sure, the reports about Danny's leaving will not go away. He never left the world of cars, he just changed speeds. The road he's on now is still going strong. What Danny Koker is doing now. Dan Koker is more than just the guy from Counting Cars. He also has a busy work life, plays rock music and loves old cars. Not a single thing has slowed down for him since his show stopped in 2021. He might even be busier now. His Las Vegas business, Count's Customs, is still open for business. All the magic takes place there. Danny and his team keep the engines going on everything from custom motorcycles to old cars that have been fixed up. Anyone can go into the shop and fans can go on trips every day. People can even become VIPs and see Danny's secret showroom. These tours also stop at the well-known Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign and the Vamp Rock Bar and Grill. Danny is also the owner of Count's Tattoo Company, which is in the Rio El Suite Hotel and Casino. There's something under the Count's name for everyone, whether they like cars, rock music, or tattoos. When it comes to music, Danny hasn't forgotten how to play the guitar. His rock band Count 77 plays shows. The group got together by accident. During an open mic night at Danny's bar, he and a few guitarist friends played a surprise set. The band took off after that because people loved it. They now play often, especially at Vamp Pit. They even had a show set for New Year's Eve, which shows that the band is still very busy. Danny is also making big shows at car shows in 2025. He will be at the Syracuse Nationals from July 18th to July 20th. He will also be at the Oasis in Yuma, Arizona at midnight, which is a famous event for car culture. That's not all though. His job is to fix up a 1930 Ford Model A truck for a whiskey company called Hooten Young. Besides that, he works on Camp Freedom, a charity project that helps soldiers. Danny is still a famous person who helps people in need. As if that wasn't enough, he has a lot of sponsors and guest spots on TV. In the past, his work has been backed by Dakota Digital, Matrix, Flaming River, and Classic Instruments. Dan has also been asked to talk about cars and his projects on American Restoration SEMA, Chris Angel, Nine Freak, and The Weekend in Vegas. So Danny Koker's world is full of love, business, and excitement, and that's not even counting the cars in the air. Almost all great men, though, have someone important behind them. For Danny, that person is his wife, who runs the Count's empire. Daniel Koker and Corey Farah have been married since 2015.